I want to welcome Agile XRM to the podcast. I've known the people at Agile XRM for the past 12 years. I've seen how their business process management tool can add massive value to complex organizational processes in sectors such as finance and government. If you have complex processes or a need for dialogues on the Power Platform or Dynamics 365, take a look at how this BPM tool can add value. You can find them at agilexrm.com or check out the show notes for more details. Welcome to the MVP Show. My intention is that you listen to the stories of these MVP guests and are inspired to become an MVP and bring value to the world through your skills. If you have not checked it out already, I do a YouTube series called How to Become an MVP. The link is in the show notes. With that, let's get on with the show. Today's guest is from KL or Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. Something I don't know. I think I might have been there, but I'm not sure. I'd have to go back and check my itinerary. He works at Anita as a pre-sales solution architect across APAC region. He was first awarded as MVP in 2023, so relatively new. He strongly believes that knowledge grows when you share it, not when you store it, which is a great MVP quality, of course. You can find links to his bio, social media, and particularly check out the link to his YouTube channel. He's a rock star in the F&O space with close to 10,000 subscribers on his channel. Welcome to the show, Mohammad.
Hi, Mark. Thank you so much for inviting me here.
Good to have you on the show. I always like to kick off with understanding a bit of the personal lives of my guests. So let's start with food, family, and fun. What does that look for you in KL?
So yeah, as you obviously know that I live in Malaysia. I live in Malaysia from like past 10 years. I'm originally from India, southern part of India, from a very beautiful city called Chennai. So I moved to Malaysia in 2012, around 2012. So Malaysia is a food heaven. So I am a very foodie person. I like to explore a lot of food. I'm into the Thai, Malay, Indonesian, Indian, Pakistani cuisine. So we hunt for a new restaurant every day. And we also use the mobile app for ordering food from different restaurants almost every day. I'm a very regular user of the app. And I have a 6-year-old. I'm married. And I spend majority of my weekends with her, taking her to a mall, to a play areas, to different animation 2D, 4D movies. It's my regular routine. And and just that you're asking about anything other than work, I also set a personal goal for myself this year from the new year, so which is to get back to shape, get back the health. So I was weighing about close to 100 kilos like 2 months back. So I lost around 20 kgs in just 2 months. So I feel a lot more better, more confident, work-life wise as well, and more productive. So when you are good, things around you start looking good and getting better for you. So I'm enjoying this.
Wow. Listen, 20 kgs, that's a lot to drop. How did you do it?
Just cut your carbs and the sugar, and just you lose your weight like the air out of balloon. That's just two things. It's 90% diet.
Yeah. I wish it was that easy for me. It never seems to be, if it was like air out of a balloon, I'd be a happy man. I often do fasting, where I'll have nothing. I'll eat for a 4-hour window in the day, and then the rest of the day, no eating whatsoever. And I can lose about a kg a week on that scenario, but it's still relatively hard to maintain over a long period of time. It's something I constantly work on. So good to hear of your success. Tell me, how did you get into the Microsoft business application ecosystem? What was your journey?
Okay, I started my career in India with a company named Cognizant Technology Solution. It's a US based MNC. So that's when I started. Like, I have an IT and industrial engineering degree. So that laid a base for being a good functional consultant with both domain knowledge and IT knowledge. So I joined Cognizant as a business analyst, and I was into different applications like JD Edwards, Oracle, and SAP, and all that. And then I was put into a new project in Malaysia. That's when I migrated to Malaysia. It was a very big Caterpillar dealership end-to-end implementation. So I got an opportunity to get from the scratch, get trained in the AX 2012 R2. So that's when you start from nothing and you have your business user, you have the pressure, you have to learn, you have to perform thousands of scenarios. There are not so many materials available out there. Microsoft Learn and everything is now improving, but in 2011-12, almost nothing. Even the books will only give you the navigation path, doesn't give you any story. Ridiculously expensive books. I bought them all, nothing worked. Finally, the testing, some of the blogs will not give you the full story, but here and there knowledge, right? So that's when I got started and started learning from that project. It's almost a 5 year Australia, New Zealand, China, Singapore, Malaysia rollout. So it was a great experience.
Did you travel quite a bit for that rollout?
Mostly it was a kind of remote, but yeah, between Australia, China, Hong Kong, Malaysia. I was mostly primarily responsible for Singapore, Malaysia region.
And this was predominantly in the finance and operations side of things, is that right?
Yeah, for AX 2012 R2 on at that time on prem. Yeah, it was primarily only for that area.
And so your specialty area now, are you still deep in 365 finance, or what particular modules are your specialty?
So as you always say, Mark, it's about depth and the breadth, right? So my depth is about finance and operations. That is my core focus. But of course, in this era, with just finance and operation, nothing is going to work out. So obviously, I'm also into Power Apps, Power Automate, and Dataverse side of things.
That's interesting. I'm keen to understand how much things like you know, on a finance related project, how much do you use Dataverse, for example, when obviously finance is not built on Dataverse? How much do you use Power Automate? How much do you use Power Apps as part of the project deliveries you do?
My current company is Anata. So Anata is a global ISV of Microsoft. Must be knowing. We build amazing applications on finance and operation, Dataverse, and the Power Platform, CE, and other CE applications, specifically for automotive and heavy equipment industry. So the primary piece of our ecosystem is finance and operations, and our extensions are built on top of finance and operations. But let's say that yesterday I had a discovery session with a customer. It is with an EV brand, electric vehicle, very modern company. And the company, for some reason, want to appify the ERP. So they have this mindset that they want to do everything they want to do in an ERP using a mobile app. When I probe them further, I asked them that, do you really want your general ledger to be in a mobile app? Do you want your cash and bank and your trial balance to be in a mobile app? The answer is obviously no. So then what do they really mean by appifying the whole ERP? Is certain portions of the ERP is something that they want to be in a form of a mobile app, right? So that is my understanding out of this discovery. So then I bring the concept of Dataverse, dual write connected with FNO. So you must be knowing about the automotive version of the Dataverse and the industry specific Dataverse that Microsoft offers. We also extend the Dataverse further with our own extension. So then I educated them about how they can build the mobile apps and the portals, which is not only bringing good experience for the business user, the front end user, but also for the customer to interact directly with the FNO data through the portal and the other areas. To give you an example, the customer once normally receives a car into a dealership, which we all go for a dealership for service. There is a person sits and registers the license plate number of the car, the check-in time and the check-out time using a pen and the paper. We can now use these entities and create a mobile app within a minute, within not a minute, over exaggerating, within a day, literally within a day, where you can pull your AI builders text recognition, scan the license plate, get the data, and it's connected to the FNO. Now you have a full service history and you understand the car, not only just about the car, but it is also about the customer because the CRM data is also there. So it is like you're providing a complete 360-degree view of both the customer and the vehicle to the sellers.
Yeah, very good. Very good. Good example. Very good example. You mentioned dual write there, and I just want to unpack that a bit. What are your thoughts on dual write? And you can be candid across the journey of dual write. Is it if you were to do a maturity assessment on dual write, what would that assessment be for you? Even you might want to give me a couple of common use cases that you're seeing, or you commonly come across for dual write.
Okay. So I wasn't, to be honest, kind of not very confident about the dual write, even for a demo, like 2 years back or a 1 year back, because it's not very consistent, and it is good for a demo, but not in real life. But eventually now, a lot of our customers are live with it. It's a lot more stable, and I have very good experience with it. Some of the real use cases where we use dual writes is example, the customer wants to very quickly build an inspection app, let's say from my industry, this is an example. And when you are inspecting things like capturing the picture, capturing the audio and video, and you're also clocking in the time for registering the timesheet of a technician, so he captures the total number of time it takes for him to perform the service. So as soon as he clicks on the clock in button, the start button, so the data is available in the projects module of Microsoft in the timesheet table right away, instantly within a second. So no more the technician needs to note down the start time and end time in a paper and pass it to somebody at the back end. The back office staff will have one specific day where he keys in the whole lot of technician data into the system, where he spends more than 8 hours or 16 hours only doing that, right? So this entire process is now automated. So the backend staff only need to validate the data very quickly, because it's still not getting posted to the backend system. You still have an opportunity to quickly validate and then just hit on the post button. So as simple as that.
I'm a bit ignorant when it comes to dual write. I've never had to use it personally. And I want to understand, when we say dual write, is it like a full mirror of the data in two systems? Is that what we've got? Are you mirroring it, or is the data sitting in one system and then being, if you like, presenced in the other system? So there's only one database, but it presents across two systems.
So there is one master system, the engine, the full-blown engine where everything sits, tons of your data, but a certain key data that you would like to use in other applications will be mirrored and will be sitting on the other systems that is in your dataverse as well. So that's my idea. That's my view.
So in this case, it would sit in Dynamics 365 Finance. You had a field in there, and it would also sit in the Dataverse as well. It's a copy, but if I updated one, it updates the other. If I update the other, it updates the same, right?
Exactly. Mark.
Okay.
Yes.
Awesome. Okay. Yeah, see, I love doing these podcasts because I learn so much. Tell me about how you became an MVP.
you have a lot of influence on that, Mark. So I definitely have to give the credit to you. So let me tell you the full story. In short, as I mentioned before, there was a problem. So whenever we have a problem and we have a solution, and if it's specific to a niche, then you are going to get a lot of attention, right? So that's what happened. So the problem is the FNO space doesn't have documentation as good as Power Platform, and all the documentations are very expensive. You have to buy or you have to purchase a course to learn it. So this is clearly a problem from 2012 until today. So I wanted to do a course on a real life scenario base, meaning just like how you implement a project, create a new company from the scratch and build it from top to bottom. Like use just that company and do all that 1,000 configurations that you want to do. Never change the company, right? So that's my idea, and that's what I wanted to do. So I wanted to actually do that because when I moved to Anata, it is an ISV, and I was losing touch of the standard modules of Microsoft. So I didn't get any motivation to every day have a learning schedule and practice it. So it was not working out. So I want to run a training program, but it didn't work out either because I cannot commit 6 months for doing this course every Saturday and Sunday. So then when I joined your mentoring program, it's called, I think 90 days mentoring challenge. For some reason, unfortunately, you paused it, but it really benefited. Like I'm sure it benefited 1,000 of them. So in there, you highlighted about the importance of personal brand and importance of sharing, right? So the concept of personal brand was very new for me in 2020, and it was a COVID period. My brain was idle. I have a lot of time to read and think about so many different things. So this small idea of personal brand that you have pitched to me in a 30 minutes video created a lot of impact. And I felt like he's really making sense, right? So it's a personal brand is something really important for everybody in this era, right? So then I connected the problem and this idea together, and I started right away on the same week a channel with something influenced from your name, 365 NZ, right? So it's Tech Talk 365. So, so then I don't want to go with the YouTube channel, because creating a YouTube channel is just a 2-minute work, right? So I'm a very detail oriented person. That is my drawback as well. I don't go to the market until the product is perfect, which is a wrong approach clearly. So I started talking to the wall using my camera for literally 6 months, which gave me a motivation to do my homework, reading, learning, and I really become an expert in that 6 months in finance and operation while doing this process. And I was truly believing that one day I will have 100,000 subscribers. So when I was talking to the camera, I'm addressing this 100,000 people, even though I'm alone in the room. So the MVP award, the attention that I'm getting, everything is just a byproduct. But the intention was for me to learn the system.
And what a fantastic lesson that is, because by you learning, right, so many other people are learning as well. So you're having this multiplying effect. And of course, when I look at your YouTube channel and the phenomenal number of videos that are up there, you got to be pretty proud of that. They look good. They're high quality. And as I say, I highly recommend people go check those out. Mohammad, it's been so good to have you on the show and to talk and see you again. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Mark, for making an impact. I always thought, I should be catching up with you and thanking you for whatever you did in that program. And I strongly recommend that you should quickly start resuming it and start impacting people. And I will definitely rejoin again. I want a second round.
Hey, thanks for listening. I'm your host, Business Application MVP Mark Smith, otherwise known as the NZ365 Guy. If you like the show and want to be a supporter, check out buymeacoffee.com/NZ365 Guy. Thanks again, and see you next time.